Welcome to the MSL Business School and welcome to our syllabus review. The new IC exam syllabus was launched recently, just this past week. It's effective in the November 2024 exam sitting and will stay with us all the way to 2029. So it's important you get familiar with the syllabus if you are a student seeking to write the CA professional qualification. The first thing we'll discuss is the evolution, briefly, of the IC exam syllabus. Where were we a few years? Where are we today? And where is the syllabus heading? We'll compare the 2019, the current, about to expire, about to end syllabus with the 2024 syllabus that will stay with us for roughly the next 5 years. And then we'll look at the major themes underpinning the new syllabus. These major themes, you'd find them across majority of the papers, and then we would look at the subject specific discussion. We'll take each paper and then we'll understand what is changing in terms of what you need to understand as a student, and then we'll wrap up with some general advice for ICA students. So I'll leave a link to the new syllabus to download in the comment and in the description to this video. So do like this video, do subscribe to our channel, and share this video with the people in your network. So in terms of the evolution of the ICE exam syllabus, it's changed remarkably over time. We can start with the 2010 syllabus. We had 4 parts. There was part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4, made up of 16 papers. And then some subjects left. For example, there was a merger of business management and business information system in the old part 1 into one paper called Business Management and Information System in the 2015 syllabus. We saw the economics paper leaving entirely. Then quantitative tools in business moved to level 1, right? Then there are some papers that you can see have stayed with us traditionally. So regardless of what the syllabus changes, there will be 3 accounting papers: a basic accounting paper, a financial reporting paper, and a corporate reporting paper. It used to be called advanced financial reporting. We've also seen that we've always had 2 papers on auditing: a basic audit and assurance paper, and then an advanced audit and assurance paper. We've almost always had 2 tax papers, but in the 2015 syllabus, we did away with principles of taxation. We just had advanced taxation at the final level. One paper too that has done a number of movement is the strategic case study paper we currently have in the 2019 syllabus. So you see that in the 2010 syllabus, it was in part 4, the final level. It moved to level 2 in the 2015 syllabus, and it's back to level 3 in the 2019 syllabus. So really that's what it's been. We saw a paper in the 2015 syllabus called Advanced Financial Management. It appeared, it stayed from 2015, and it left in 2019, right? So this is it. We've gone from 16 papers in 4 parts to 14 papers in 3 levels, right? And that has stayed with us since the year 2015. So comparing the 2019 to the 2024 syllabus, what can we say is changing? To be very straightforward, to be very honest with you, in terms of the key changes, not much is changing at the cosmetic level. When I say that, what do I mean? We still have 14 papers. We still have 3 levels. So none of that is changing. The names of the papers staying the same, with the exception of one paper. So paper 1.4 used to be called Introduction to Management Accounting in the 2019 syllabus. In the 2024 syllabus, the new syllabus, we now have Introduction to Cost and Management Accounting. So the word cost has been added just to show the emphasis that it's really a costing paper and an introduction to management accounting, which is a separate level 2 paper. Apart from that change of name, we still have the same names for all the papers, the same number of papers, 14, 3 levels, right? This will be effective November 2024, like I said. And the ICAG mentioned that they expect to introduce computer-based testing gradually. It will be rolled out in phases starting from level 1 sometime 2025. There is no exact date communicated as at today, right? So that is it in terms of an introduction to the syllabus. What are the major themes in the new CA exam syllabus? We have 5 key themes underpinning everything. Number 1, technology. The new syllabus is technologically driven, is technology driven. It shows the impact of technology and the fact that students seeking to gain this qualification must be forward-looking and must embrace new technologies, emerging technologies, right? Second is professional skills. It goes through all aspects of the syllabus, and students are expected to understand and apply this in their learning and in their examination. Ethics has always been important, is still important, and it will forever be important. So this syllabus emphasizes ethics. We'll see ethics introduced into some papers that previously made no mention of ethics. Sustainability is a big deal now. ESG, sustainability reporting, these are topical issues, and the syllabus has done a good job of capturing these themes wherever possible. Then I think the biggest influencer, public sector. I can say for a fact that I can call this syllabus the public sector syllabus because they have tried very hard to put public sector in almost every paper, right? Just a few papers make no mention of the public sector, but you can bet that the public sector is the biggest theme. So you can see I left at the bottom because it's the foundation carrying the other themes, right? So I think that's the biggest thing to take away. This syllabus is public sector driven. Right. So let's start with a subject specific breakdown. I'll start with level 3 papers, move to level 2 papers, then I'll move to level 1 papers. So depending on which level you're interested in, you can just skip the video to that particular point. I'll try and leave chapter point marks or check marks so they can jump to a particular subject you may be interested in, just to speed your progression through the video. Right. So let's start with corporate reporting. For the corporate reporting paper, not much is changing on the face of it, right? So if you check the syllabus area, I've left 2019-2024 syllabus on the screen. You can compare the weightage. You'd realize that the key things that are changing, we still have 30 marks for International Financial Reporting Standard, syllabus area A. That is not changing. Consolidated financial statements for a group is still 25 marks. That is not changing. What is changing is syllabus area C, for evaluating the entity's position, performance, and prospects using a number of what measures, what students know to be ratios and interpretation. It was 20 marks in the 2019 syllabus. It's reducing to 15 marks in the 2024 syllabus. This what currently comes as question 5 for corporate reporting students. You shouldn't expect to see a 20 marker. You see a 15 mark question expected going forward. Specialized transactions is still 15 marks. That is where students are used to their typical business valuation question, capital reduction, capital reconstruction, and all of that. What you can see in terms of the summary of changes, the syllabus mentions that students are expected to advise relevant organizations on specialized accounting requirements for industries, including mining, insurance, manufacturing, and banking. What we don't know yet, at least at this early stage, is what form this will take. But does it mean we may be required to prepare financial statements for these industries, right? Or understand their specific accounting requirements? But these are things that we can see they've increased that specialized transaction topic. It's no longer going to be just business valuation and capital reconstruction or capital reduction. Then the E part on ethics used to just be 10 marks, but now you just will not have a 10-mark ethics question. That part has been bumped up to 15 marks. And then you can see that they've added environmental, social, and governance issues. So ESG issues, sustainability reporting, right? We now have sustainability standards, right? So this is now in the syllabus, and candidates are expected to advise and apply those new sustainability standards. Things like integrated reporting, technology impact on financial and corporate reporting, big data, data analytics, blockchain. These are all new topics in the syllabus. So apart from these few changes, corporate reporting pretty much stays the same. Advanced audit and assurance, not too many things are changing. Key changes to take note from this new syllabus is corporate governance has now been introduced as a standalone learning outcome in the 2024 syllabus. So you see, we now have 10 marks dedicated to corporate governance alone. Comparing the old and the new syllabus, you'd notice that the 2019 syllabus had 25 marks for gathering evidence or evidence gathering methods. That is now 20 marks. Concluding and reporting on the engagement, the types of audit reports, qualified opinions, unqualified opinion, disclaimer of opinion, all of those different types was 25 marks. It's now reduced to 20 marks, right? So the loss of those 5 marks each have created a 10 marks dedicated to corporate governance. Sustainability audit is a big deal. I told you it's one of the major themes. So we now have a standalone as part of the things to note sustainability audit. We also have auditing digital assets, right? So candidates should be able to show or demonstrate knowledge of auditing digital assets, artificial intelligence, robotic automation, right? And forensic auditing. These are new concepts you see in the advanced audit and assurance paper. Apart from these things, it pretty much stays an audit paper at the final level. Advanced taxation is where things are really, really changing. We have a clearer, more detailed, much larger syllabus. Things that have been introduced, new topics, taxation of insurance companies under the Income Tax Act. Partnership taxation was previously at level 2 principles of taxation. We now have it at level 3 in the new syllabus. Fiscal policy was purely a level 2 principles of tax topic. It's now in level 3. Petroleum revenue management law has now been mentioned specifically as a requirement. So students must understand Act 815 of 2011, right? You need to understand the different funds, Petroleum Holding Fund, right? The Ghana Petroleum Funds in detail, how we deal with what the annual budget funding amount, determining benchmark revenue, all of those things are now in level 3. Then ethics in taxation was not in the syllabus, it's now introduced. Practice management issues is now introduced. VAT and customs, it's a big deal. Previously exclusive to the level 2 principles of tax syllabus, we now have VAT and customs in advanced taxation. Emerging and current trends, the Africa Continental Free Trade Area is now in the level 3 advanced tax syllabus. E-commerce taxation is here and digitization of tax administration. So this syllabus has seen a major overhaul with new topics introduced. In our personal view, this syllabus is bigger, broader, and much larger. The advantage, however, is that students now have certainty on the mark allocation for different topics. In the past, it just said 60 marks for optimal tax outcomes in the old syllabus and 30 marks for taxation of single companies, right? So this is clearer and it makes for easy preparation by the candidate. But the downside is the syllabus is now bigger, it's now larger, and candidates have a lot more to learn, right, compared to the 2019 syllabus. Strategic case study, not much is changing, to be fair, right? At first glance, the 2019 syllabus looks very different in terms of the topics. You can see we had a more detailed breakdown. For example, strategic objectives, 10 marks, internal, external environment, 10 marks, detailed. What the 2024 syllabus has done is it has lumped the topics into thematic areas. So syllabus area A, strategic analysis, will be for 20 marks. Area B, strategic choice, 15 marks. Area C, strategy into action or strategy implementation, 25 marks. Area D, financial objectives, 20 marks. Corporate governance, 20 marks. Anybody with a good understanding of the old syllabus will note that corporate governance was actually 20 marks in the old syllabus. It was just broken down into 4 different chunks of 5 marker areas. Financial objectives was 20 marks. We had 2 10-marker areas, right? So really the syllabus is not changing for case study. Just a few things moved around. And I think the biggest thing to remember is that business organizations or structures of businesses, right? The types of organizational structures is leaving the case study paper and is going to level 1, paper 1.2 in the business management and information system paper, right? So that is it in terms of the change. Everything else pretty much stays the same. They have added a few additional statutes or pieces of law, pieces of statute we should be familiar with. So the Corporate Insolvency and Restructuring Act of 2020, Act 1015, has been introduced under withdrawal or harvesting and defensive restructuring strategies, right? Then the State Interest and Governance Authority Act of 2019, Act 990, is a requirement now. Candidates must understand that piece of statute. Then the Bank of Ghana Corporate Governance Disclosure Directives and specific corporate governance requirements in the Companies Act 2019, Act 992, are also required. But apart from these changes, the strategic case study paper really kind of stays the same paper. Not much is changing here compared to a paper like advanced taxation, right? So that does it for level 3. I would say for level 3, the biggest change we are seeing is from the advanced taxation paper, to be very fair. Level 2. For level 2 papers, let's start with financial reporting. Also looking at it, not much has changed apart from a few reorganizations here and there. For example, consolidations or group financial reporting in the 2019 syllabus had 25 marks. So candidates would have seen question 1 having 20 marks for the preparation of the consolidated financial statements. And then typically sometimes question 5 would have a 5-marker theory question on groups. It depends on the exam that year. But the new syllabus is saying, you know what? Consolidations will no longer be 25 marks. Consolidations are now worth just 20 marks in the syllabus. Same as what? Preparation of single entity financials, or what students like to call published accounts. So now published accounts and consolidations both still have what? A 20-mark allocation. Then syllabus area A on regulatory, legal, ethical frameworks, what we used to talk about in terms of the financial reporting framework, it was 10 marks. That has been increased to 15 marks. And because of that increase, we have added topics like corporate governance, the sustainability standards. But if you compare the syllabus critically, students will only be introduced to sustainability reporting in financial reporting. Then when they get to corporate reporting, they are tested into detail on the sustainability standards in particular. Then the final cosmetic change is syllabus area E. It still stays 20 marks, but students knew that to just be about what? Preparation of ratio analysis and writing a report. The syllabus has added ESG, environmental, social, and governance concerns in terms of the stakeholders you need to consider, right, as part of syllabus area E. But apart from that, financial reporting has not seen much of a change. Management accounting has seen some changes. Syllabus area A on the contemporary approaches to management accounting has included technological development in management accounting as well as sustainable cost management, right? We've also seen a topic, this is very important, long-term decision making. It used to be in the syllabus for 15 marks. It has left the syllabus entirely. So topics like net present value, internal rate of return, payback period, accounting rate of return, discounted cash flow considerations, all of these things are no longer tested in management accounting. We expect them to be in the financial management paper 2.4 only. Now, because those 15 marks have left, it gave them the room to now introduce public sector into this paper. Don't forget, I said one of the biggest themes underpinning the syllabus is public sector. So now we have a new syllabus area called management accounting in the public sector. It will cover topics like cost benefit analysis, cost outcome analysis, cost effectiveness analysis, externalities, and some ratios and interpretation. So we've also seen some overhaul of management accounting. Remember, the biggest change is long-term decision making is leaving this paper and public sector is entering. Paper 2.3 is audit and assurance, right? Really not much is changing here apart from the fact that the syllabus areas have been clarified, right? So things are clearer. Ethics is central to the paper now. The international standards on auditing, or we call the ICES, have been removed as standalone syllabus area. So we used to have what? Understanding the ICES for just 10 marks, right? That was a lot. It's no longer a standalone area. And because the public sector is important to this syllabus, the public sector is now a standalone area for 10 marks. It wasn't there in the old syllabus. So things like the PEFA framework, public expenditure, and financial accountability is now in this paper. Performance audit, you can also find them here. Things like public procurement, they are all here. Some changes here. Something like time value of money was a standalone syllabus area for 10 marks. It doesn't stand alone now. It's been subsumed within the new syllabus area C called investment appraisal techniques. So that part went from 15 marks to 20 marks, right? So you wouldn't have a standalone area on time value of money. It's now part of investment appraisal. The biggest change to mention here is public sector once again. This paper now has a standalone 10 marker for public sector financial management. So things like, once again, the public expenditure and financial accountability framework, value for money in public spending, and the entire public procurement syllabus in the old public sector paper is now in this paper. So important, students should take note of this. Public procurement is no longer a standalone topic, right? In public procurement, you find that in the public sector paper. Then developing technologies in finance for just 5 marks, but things like artificial intelligence, machine learning, digital currencies are all part of financial management. Then this is the star of the show, the paper that saw the biggest change. Public sector accounting and finance is no longer what we know it to be. It has changed. I can summarize this as this paper is essentially now a financial reporting paper, purely for the public sector. So there's a very heavy emphasis on international public sector accounting standards and financial statement preparation in the public sector, as well as analysis and interpretation of public sector financial information. So this is no longer going to be the paper where you can survive without understanding the accounting aspect. The paper is called Public Sector Accounting and Finance. They took the accounting part of the paper and said we're going to make a big deal out of it. We have the syllabus area B in the new syllabus for 10 marks on the conceptual framework and regulatory framework. Syllabus area C is on international public sector accounting standards, IPSAS, for 20 marks. So students should understand the IPSAS and be able to engage with the IPSAS just like they engage with IFRSs and IASs in the financial reporting paper. Then there will be a separate question that will urge or require students to prepare financial statements based on IPSAS for 20 marks. Then there will be another question on evaluation and interpretation of financial information in the public sector for 20 marks. So really, this is now a reporting paper, right? So this is going to be financial reporting in the public sector. Just see the paper like that. A financial reporting paper purely but for the public sector, with just a few theory bits here and there, right? So how you see paper 2.1, see that to be financial reporting for the private sector. Paper 2.5 is now public sector financial reporting, right? Then we have paper 2.6, principles of taxation. We've seen a merger of some syllabus areas. So for example, something like the taxation of gifts. Gift tax had 5 marks in the old syllabus. You wouldn't find gift tax standing alone now. It's been subsumed within the individual headers. So employment income, business income, investment income, they've all taken their aspects of that. We've seen a heavier emphasis on the taxation of capital gains. So taxation of gains was previously for 5 marks in the old syllabus. It's now 10 marks, right? They've emphasized that a lot more. Customs is now a big area. So things like warehousing, duty drawback, customs entry procedures, now a big deal in principles of taxation. Then they've introduced things like ethical issues, so ethics and information technology, IT, in taxation, right? So principles of tax slightly expanded, new topics introduced. They did not take anything that was so heavy away, apart from things like the history of taxation in Ghana, but it stays the same paper plus extra content, right? So this is still the big paper that it's always been. So that is it for level 2, right? We can see the biggest change occurred in public sector accounting and finance. Level 1, last but not least, we start with financial accounting. It still stays our basic entry-level financial accounting paper. Syllabus areas have now been clarified, and some areas have been either emphasized or de-emphasized. For example, interpretation of financial statements has been very de-emphasized. We used to have a 15-mark allocation for calculating ratios and interpreting financials, right? Or interpreting financials. That has gone from 15 marks to 5 marks. Now the syllabus will just require you to calculate the ratios. They are saying, learn how to calculate it now, get to financial reporting, paper 2.1, and we'll talk about interpretation. Accounting for partnerships is now very emphasized clearly as a standalone syllabus area for 15 marks. Incomplete records accounting, now emphasize standalone syllabus area for another 10 marks, right? Then once again, you can see public sector accounting again is here. So public sector accounting is now standalone, although for 5 marks, they are introducing you to how to prepare financial statements in the public sector. Then we have what? Ethics, also introduced in syllabus area A. Candidates should start learning about ethics from level 1. I told you ethics is one of what? Our key themes underpinning the current syllabus. Business management and information systems. Really not much is changing here. Ethics introduced. ESG, environmental, social, and governance introduced. Organizational structures, I mentioned this during the strategic case study discussion, right? Organizational structures is leaving the case study paper and is entering the business management and info systems paper as an important part of it. And technology has been emphasized here. So you see that we now have a separate 10-mark allocation on the impact of technology on the accountant for 10 marks. Standalone area, right? Then business and corporate law also saw some changes, right? So we have ADR, alternative dispute resolution, is now a standalone as part of what? If you look into the syllabus, you see it as one of the things candidates should understand, right? So under the law of obligations too, we'll see some other things introduced. So syllabus area A also briefly touches on public sector entities. Syllabus area B used to talk about contract law, sale of goods law, hire purchase law, right? And a few others, right? Now we've seen insurance and banking contracts have also been introduced. So you need to understand some insurance law and some banking law as well, right? That makes the syllabus slightly bigger than it currently is. Then the Data Protection Act and the public procurement law is mentioned. Once again, public procurement is public sector, right? So they found a way to inject some public sector, even in the business and corporate law paper. Then intro to cost and management accounting. This also saw some changes. So the old public sector accounting and finance paper used to have a section for public sector budgeting. That public sector budgeting, the entire syllabus area has left the public sector paper and is now in this paper. So students sitting cost and management accounting introduction in level 1 need to be able to talk about the budgeting process in the public sector. It is for 10 marks here. You can expect this to be a big part of the paper. So do not see this paper 1.4 as just a costing paper. You need to understand budgeting, not just in the private sector, but the legal aspect even in the public sector. So this is a major change for students to take note. Apart from this, it stays quite the same paper, right? So in terms of general advice to students, public sector accounting and finance is changing dramatically, right? So I'm recording this video on the 3rd of February. So public sector accounting and finance, if you have to write it in March 2024, you have March and July 24 to sit the current public sector accounting and finance paper before November kicks in, because your current preparation for public sector accounting and finance will not be suitable. It will not work for the November version of the paper. Advanced taxation too, the same. If you are preparing for advanced tax now, the November syllabus will be bigger than the current syllabus where you have March and July to still write. So apart from these two, the rest you can manage them because we've just seen extra additions here and there. But all in all, we can see the heavy emphasis on public sector in this new syllabus. It should be an exciting syllabus. It will stay with us from now to 2029. So we have to love it anyways, right? So that is it in terms of our discussion. Maybe I should have said this at the start, but a quick disclaimer, this is not the official position of the ICAG. This is our view after deeply studying the syllabus. Obviously, as time goes on, as we get to see the study materials and manuals released, we'll get to have further clarity on these syllabus areas. But these would be the key changes you need to familiar with, right? So if you're a CA student, you can use this to plan accordingly. Nothing is changing in terms of levels. Nothing is changing in terms of papers, right? So you can know that at least for the sake of certainty, you know what is ahead of you. Familiarize yourself with the content, and it's an exam. If you prepare really well, you should be rewarded with success. So this is MSL, right, from the MSL Business School. And this has been a brief discussion, hopefully brief, right, on the new IC exam syllabus. So do share this video with your network. Do like the video, do subscribe, and we'll come back to you with maybe a detailed video on the syllabus. All the best in your preparation for the IC exam, and may your efforts be crowned with a lot of success. Till our next video, it's bye for now.